What was your opinion about Stacey Kirby's performance?
It was good. I was very I felt like didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I guess that was the point, is just to feel sort of lost in the process.
Yeah, I felt very confused the whole time, so I guess the performance was good.
And could you give us your what could you say about your experience? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very it was eye-opening to go through the process and sort of see stuff that, I don't know. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was really eye-opening just to figure out what other people are going through.
Thank you for your time.
She was great. I thought she was the most personable of the officers there.
Did you like it? Did you not like it?
Nobody likes being run through a series of silly interviews, going from desk to desk where the questions being answered are not really clear why anybody's asking them.
It was very interesting. I felt very kind of awkward and uncomfortable for some moments of it, but at the same time I felt a part of the experiment because everybody was pretty friendly and straightforward. I think I liked it. I think that it showed me, well, technically I'm absent for some odd reason. I don't know why, because I'm physically here. Yeah, a lot of people were absent, but it was a nice experience.
Have you ever been in this type of performance before?
I have not. I've never really participated in any type of socially engaged art, so it's nice being a part, the audience being able to make the art.
Okay. Thank you for your answers.
Kind of exaggerated, but it does explain a lot of what goes on, with the process and in general, how sometimes going through the process makes you feel they make you feel absent in this country.
I was actually really confused throughout the entire thing. I had so many questions, but it was actually really interesting. It got you to think what is this all being marked absence, what does this all kind of mean? So it was just questions and even more questions. It's a different kind of form of art that you don't really think about. So it was really interesting.
Have you ever been in this type of performance before?
I have not.
Yeah, no, I've done escape rooms, but this is not the same thing.
Okay, thank you for sharing your experience.
I think Stacey Kirby did a really good job rendering, I guess, how it is for people who are trying to come into the U.S. Personally, I come from a background that is not originally from the U.S., so I think that this applies to people who are coming into the U.S. and some things in there where you have to speak our language and do what we say and, that kind of thing, kind of follow the norm. And so I think that's really present and, really relevant to today's, society in the United States and living in the United States and what it's like to have to blend in. So I think she did a really great job, and I thought it was really eye-opening.
Okay, have you ever done anything like this before?
No, this is the first, interactive installation, I guess, that I've ever really been to. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great learning experience.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience. ¿Cuál fue tu opinión sobre el performance de Stacey Kirby?
Se sintió muy real y nunca pensé que hubiera sido así el proceso que pasó hoy.
¿Cuál fue tu experiencia? ¿Te gustó o no te gustó?
Me gustó en el sentido de que sentí que sí fue de veras, pero también no me gustó cómo tratan a las personas. Como cuando te miden y eso es muy... ¿Por qué te tienen que medir? Te pasa por la cabeza y así.
¿Y has pasado por algún performance como esto antes?
No, fue mi primera vez.
Muchas gracias por compartir tu experiencia.
I feel like it was very accurate to how it actually was in the 50s, and it made you feel really alienated when you went in there.
Makes you think how immigrants feel when they're being questioned about anything, at all, just anything regarding their status. So that just makes you feel uncomfortable, how they feel.
I liked it in the sense that I knew it was a performing art piece, but I didn't like it with the way it made me feel personally. It made me feel uncomfortable and a little bit unnerved.
Also, I felt uncomfortable, being questioned some personal stuff and some things regarding status. I just felt uncomfortable.
She was great.
Yeah.
Very alienating. I felt really like she was a genuine civil servant.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
very impressive. She was good at what she did. Felt really intimidated by her, to be honest.
She said she shed light on a lot of issues that our country has had and does have currently. So I enjoyed it a lot. It was intense.
Honestly, I didn't know what I was expecting coming in here. So.
I kind of dragged him along to this, but I've never done anything like this either. When I heard interactive, I didn't know it was this and this level of interactive. I loved it.
Okay. Thank you for your experience.
Thank you.
Well, at first I was really confused, but I think it's an accurate portrayal of how immigrants in the U.S. must feel about having to keep their values to themselves and not having any valid form of ID or anything to identify themselves by other than a number. They can't even claim their culture or their religious beliefs out in public without making others uncomfortable, and that's kind of the feeling that we give them whenever they come into this country.
I think as a participant, you don't have anything to lose. And so I think it was really interesting how she still kind of brought you down to who you were and who you claimed to be. And you were judged on that and things that you never thought you would be judged for, that things that you took for granted. And even though it seemed like an American thing, it was a culture that I was very unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm. I think what stood out to me was the performers very cold but also pleasant in demeanor. It was somewhat unsettling, and everything felt very prescribed and scientific and written down from step to step.
It definitely made me uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say or what to do. I just kind of complied with what the officer was saying because she seemed very pleasant, but there was an underlying tone within the words that she was speaking.
I think we should all be uncomfortable.
I thought the performance and the actual going through the process and everything was really good, and it's super informative because it lets people know what's going on in the country, and this is something that goes on every single day and people aren't really aware of it. They're not really talking about it. They just kind of know the bigger headlines. So to actually see the process and get an understanding of it is really helpful. I liked it, but also I felt myself get immersed into the uncomfortableness that other people feel when they're going through this process. So definitely when I put the blanket on, I started to feel very warm and uncomfortable. And when Stacey was doing the measurements behind the wrists and everything, I felt a little awkward about that. But overall, it was a very eye-opening process.
Have you ever participated in these kind of performances before?
I have not. So this was a first for me.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience. El performance está programado para terminar a las 6:30. Son las 6:20 y la gente todavía sigue llegando y llegando. A mis espaldas pueden ver la gente que todavía está esperando para entrar al performance. What was your opinion about Stacey Kirby's performance here?
I really loved it. I thought it was very insightful and unique and an interesting experience.
Yeah, I did too, and it was putting me in a position that I have never been in before, so it really opened my eyes to different experiences other people might have.
Could you tell us about your experience? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I think I enjoyed it because I knew it wasn't real life. So in that respect, I did enjoy it, but also didn't because I know that things like this actually happen in the real world.
Yeah, I was really shocked to learn about the license not being valid anymore. Some of the things people were doing, it seemed like they were trying to be comforting, but at the same time it was a little degrading and not comfortable. So I learned a lot about these new experiences.
It's very well thought out. It takes a lot of planning, so I really appreciate all the work that she put into it. And she did a very good job of just cultivating this lost time, I feel like, and cultivating this experience that not a lot of us white Americans understand. And I think it was very moving for me, and it probably will be for a lot of people.
Have you ever participated in a performance like this before?
I have not. This was my first time, and I really loved it.
Thank you for sharing your experience.
Para mí fue una experiencia muy interesante. Pues la verdad no supe qué esperar. Fue una experiencia muy rara, algo que no quiero que otra gente tenga que experimentar porque es algo incómodo tener que contestar esas preguntas y estar tratado así como un animal y no como una persona. Y para mí, pues lo que me preocupaba más fue la experiencia de mis niñas, que ellas también tuvieron que ver lo que me estaban haciendo en la entrevista.
¿Nos puedes decir de tu experiencia? ¿Te gustó o no te gustó?
Es difícil decir, pues sí me gustó porque entiendo el propósito y lo que están tratando de enseñar a la comunidad, y para mí yo pienso que es muy importante que la comunidad tenga mejor como perspectiva de la experiencia de inmigración en este país, pero la experiencia fue muy incómoda y pues la verdad no me gustó en el momento. Sí.
¿Has participado en otros performances como este antes?
Pues la verdad como este no nada como este. No.
Muchas gracias por compartir tu experiencia.
I thought her effort to make an atmosphere and kind of really bring you into this small office space for a short period of time was really phenomenal. I wasn't expecting to feel like I was in a doctor's office or in a government space as much as I did. So.
Overall, it was a pretty interesting experience. I don't know, just to go through the experience and also meeting everybody and being in the performance. It raises a lot of good questions.
I honestly felt uncomfortable but comfortable, so it was just very strange. So yeah.
Duality of that, Emily, I think was part of the whole thing of feeling welcome and unwelcome and sort of tense, and also it was funny. It's sort of a push-pull between a lot of different emotions that.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but at one point I felt like it was real.
Yeah.
And then I had to take a step back and I was like, oh, this isn't real. But
yeah,
it's just a performance, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought it was really cool to create your own reality, or Stacey Kirby's reality.
I don't know if it's. I don't know if I could answer like or dislike. I think I was interested, but it wasn't pleasurable. It was. It made me ask a lot of questions about the settings that we're in, where we're kind of made to feel that way, and who feels that way and why. And yeah, I don't think like or dislike.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You can't really say that you like it or this.
More enjoying the fact that I had the opportunity for this experience, but once I was there, it was very much of this is supposed to be the performance, and I'm a participant, but also an object within that. I felt very object-like once the measurements started happening, so it's just something more to think about.
I think it's something you can't put a label on. It's something you get pulled into, and you have to immerse yourself with what's going on. So, I mean, I don't know, you just experience it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Parts of it were, good, and then some of them were kind of uncomfortable. So I wouldn't like to be in that situation again, but, I just felt kind of good about the whole thing, though. It's fine.
So, have you guys ever participated in a performance like this before?
Nothing like this. We're part of a performance class, so we're definitely interested in the form, and we've done things together, sort of related, but obviously nothing like this before.
Yeah, this is my first time too.
The first time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience.
I think it was very unexpected in the fact that I enjoyed it, and I guess I don't have a whole lot of words. I'm still trying to take it all in. The archives were interesting. The reflective blanket was really interesting, but I don't like the feeling of being categorized.
I liked it. It was very reflective of the citizenship process, I think, and yeah, I think it was good. A good representation.
I can't talk very loudly.
Okay. I'm sorry. I can translate for you if you want, or one of us can, to make it louder.
I mean, I enjoyed it in a weird way.
think you got it. Is that audible? Yeah, I feel similarly. It was purposefully a bit jarring, but I think that's what it's for. So,
what could you say about your experience? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
It was a little bit uncomfortable, but it was good overall.
I'm glad I went through it.
Yeah, it was discomforting in a good way.
Have you ever done these type of performances before?
No, I've never have.
A few times.
I don't think I have this particular kind.
All right. Thank you for sharing, guys.
It was just hopeless. Just went in there. They just they gave you room to talk, but at the same time, it didn't feel like they really wanted to hear you talk at all at some point. So it was just a wall. No pun intended, but sorry. And it was eye-opening in a way.
So you speak another language? Is that Spanish? Spanish. ¿Cuál fue tu opinión sobre el performance de Stacey Kirby?
Me alegra mucho que lo haya traído para acá, especialmente con este ambiente y este campus, esta universidad que es en la mayoría, tú sabes, con privilegio y blanca y esa cosa. Entonces, fue muy buen detalle de parte de ella tener en mente hacer este ejercicio y hacerlo tan interactivo como lo hizo. Y en verdad como que también tener como que prueba física de lo que pasó y todo eso. So, fue muy inteligente, la verdad, muy inteligente.
¿Qué nos puedes decir de tu experiencia? ¿Te gustó, no te gustó?
Por lo que sentí ahí, yo he ido por el proceso, o sea, originalmente yo he ido por el proceso, me pareció algo similar, entonces no me gustó en sí, pero al mismo tiempo es como que, hey, no, sí, esto es punto.